Hey guys, it's Joe Carrell. Welcome to another episode of In the Mix. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than talk about any specific microphone techniques or anything like that, Warm Audio has allowed me to get a group of high-level professional studio guys here in Nashville together in one room to talk straight to you about career advice.
Where you were lightning, roll your thumb over everyone to know. You're beautiful, 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 beautiful girl.
Hey guys, all right, so what I want to do today is introduce you to some of my friends, guys that still inspire me every day to be great at what I do and try to get better and better to keep up with them. And you've probably seen them in some recent videos, and I want to give you just a brief introduction. We got David Dorn. You've probably seen him on keys and synth and B3, all that good stuff. We got Jeff King, electric guitar hero, guitar god of Nashville, one of them anyway, right? We got Joel Key. You've probably seen him on acoustic guitar, banjo, mandolin, I mean, just all kinds of stuff. Ukulele. I've seen this guy rip. Remember that? We was doing a session and his pickup was vibrating as he would play. He ripped it out of his guitar during a session. True story. So anyway, Scott. True story. Scott Williamson, a great friend of my drummer. He's I'm a drummer first and foremost, and when I heard him for the first time is when I realized that I should stay on that side of the glass and never play again. So anyway, then we got Jacob Lowry. You've seen him on bass.
Yeah, that's me.
Sometimes seated, sometimes standing. You know, I mean, whatever. You're just rocking it. That's all.
Single notes.
Yeah, exactly. But what I want there ain't no chords.
1 minute at a time.
Yeah, exactly. What I want to do today, guys, is it's great giving you these recording advice. Here's the microphone to use. Here's where to put it. This is the preamp to use. Hey, this is the plug-in I use to get the vocal sound. Whatever. All that is great, and that needs to be and should be a big part of what I give you guys. But something that I feel is missing in the industry is more of a mentor role. And going back to when I got started, I learned as much from studio players as I did the engineers that I was studying under. You could go to lunch with these guys and hear conversations they were having about something that went right, something that went wrong on the session the day before, and it's a mental note to yourself. It's like, oh, I do that. I need to never do that because acoustic guitar players hate it, or whatever, that kind of a thing. So I want to give these guys a little opportunity to share. Literally, I mean, the youngest, most inexperienced one of us have like nearly 20 years full time in this business. Some of us approaching probably a lot more. But I'm not going to say anything because I don't want that person to feel old. All right, so anyway. All right, so that said, what I want to do, guys, is I want to give our viewers, our guys that are aspiring to be engineers, people that's aspiring to do what I do, guys that's aspiring to do what you do. Maybe they're just trying to get better at the engineering part of it, but to enhance their writing or their demo making, but basically they're really drummers or bass players or whatever. So I'd like to talk about like just general career advice to a young guy trying to get into the business. We can talk about musicians. It's like, I know you guys get this question. You have to get this question all the time because I get it all the time too. How do I break in, to a town like Nashville or Los Angeles or whatever? What gave David Dorn, a leg up? Because there's so much talent in any of these towns. Only so many people are going to break in and actually be successful because there's just not enough spots. So providing the talent is there. What makes any of you, what made you a home in this business to where you're doing this in studios like this all day, every day, versus the guy that's sitting on our couch thinking, man, I'm good. I can play that, but like, I don't get the call. Does anybody have anything they'd like to, share with these guys that, gave them a leg up in the business, opened some doors for them?
I think perseverance and just keep working at it, and you're going to fall and you're going to hit flat on your face and you're going to get fired. And I got fired once off a session, yeah. But you just got to keep working at it and keep practicing. And if you can retain the thought about, this guy didn't play anything cool, I could have played something way cooler. Well, put yourself in that spot because you don't know what's been going on. Somebody may have said, here's what I want you to play.
That's true.
You know, there's a stress that goes with this job every time. I mean, not for us because we goof off most of the time, but you know, when the song's counting off, and if you have a complicated part, I mean, you're tight. You know, you get tense and you just miss stuff. But you have to learn how to relax, and you have to learn how to play with the click.
Yo, that's a big.
I mean, it's a big one. You know, you have to learn to play with the click, and then there are times when you don't use a click, so you still have to have the time.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point. I remember growing up as a drummer, you probably did the same thing. We are inspired a lot by guys like Vinnie Colaiuta and Dave Weckl and people like that. We want to play notes, man. We want to play, and you get into a session, and you hear one of the first things a producer tells, man, I just want 2 and 4. You know, it's like, how did this drummer, get by with just playing that part? Because that's exactly what was right for the song. The producer didn't want Vinnie Colaiuta doing, massive, crazy, progressive jazz licks in a country tune. You know what I mean? So taste is a biggie.
And we're here to serve the song.
That's
At
right.
the end of the day, our job is to serve the song and to bring what needs to be there. And I think that's a hard thing because you still have to do it with your own style because that's what gets you called back.
Right.
When you serve the song, but it's like, man, this song would not be the same if this was missing.
Right.
But it doesn't distract. It's always adding to it. And, in Nashville, we're in a unique place because we have great songwriters around us all day long, and we hear some of the best songs. So when you have great songs, our job's to get out of the way.
Sometimes.
To be there to enhance, but not take away. And I think that's the learning. I know I'm the youngest musician, I'm sure, in this whole thing. And
Bragger.
Enjoy it. My time's coming. But that's a hard lesson because you feel the pressure you think that, man, if I don't bring something great, this song isn't going. But the reality is, bring something great that's the right part with what everybody else is doing. I know for myself, I listen to everybody else more than I listen to myself. Because I want to hear what's happening so that whatever part I need to play is because this frequency range is missing or this part isn't here, so I need to cover this.
Yeah.
It's to find what's happening on the field. We're all players. We all have positions, and we have our job and try to hold it down.
That's a
I
good
think
point.
even beyond that, you're saying working on a great song. What about when you're working on a song that's not great?
Yeah.
That's when you're
those are
really
hard.
serving.
That's
Really, honestly,
you're not wrong.
That's when they say, I need you to do this.
You're trying to make it sound like a hit song.
Yeah, you have to.
And you do it at the highest quality
And you
that you
do
can
it,
do
yeah.
because that's what gets you called back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I tell drummers a lot because maybe drummers need to hear this more than some of the other instrumentalists, but you do not sit down to play the drums, you sit down to play the song.
That's right.
And that's just a really important principle for all of us, but maybe for drummers more than the rest of the.
Yes, I do know. One thing that I will add to the conversation from an engineering perspective, I think it's not just engineering, it's musicians too, is a lot of times people want to play, like on the next Reba record or Martina record. I mean, I'm using country stars since we're in Nashville, but that's not where it starts. It starts, in smaller studios, smaller situations. Some of the most successful guys I have seen break into the business on every, side of it is by playing demos, stuff that no one's ever going to hear. I mean, this is just a songwriter getting his idea on tape, to try to get somebody legitimate to cut it, but those you never know which one of those songwriters are going to be the next hit producer or whatever. I mean, how many times have we seen that happen? I mean, all of us,
Countless.
probably several of us in this room can think of some songwriters that are key to our career. Playing on lowly demos is not a bad thing. That's something I wish I would have done more of. I was spoiled rotten by getting right into some record things, and I missed out on some of the demos. And I think it kept me out of some circles because I wasn't meeting up and coming people. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I really have thought about the way my career unfolded and think that's something. Don't be afraid to take the lowly gig with the songwriter, just because no one's ever going to hear it, you know. That's where it all starts. You just never know who's going to be the next hit.
Well, and you don't know who's going to hear everything.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know, always do your best work. And
If you
know.
can't do great things, do small things in a great way is a good way.
No,
That's a
good.
yes.
Oh.
Wow.
That's a cute.
I'm getting a tattoo.
Pause. Can we get a t-shirts made? Let's rename the program. Right. Right. Well, you know, okay. I think that's great. Let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about. I know, again, this is something that helped me immensely in my early days was going to lunch with guys like you when I was, 20, and hearing do's and don'ts. All right. So as engineers, we've got a lot of toys in there, lots of knobs, right? Stuff that we can have a lot of fun with. We love it. But one of the things I found out is that sometimes you guys do not. You know what I mean? Maybe it can enhance something. Maybe it can get away from it. And that's just in the terms of gear. Let's talk about other, just anything. And floor is open to do's and don'ts about, once you're in the studio, you know what I mean? To engineers, musicians, that kind of a thing. Anybody have anything they want to bring to the table?
Go for it.
Well, from a guitar standpoint, and most of the time I play electric guitar, is, there were times when I've been getting a sound, first chord, kind of making sure I'm hearing myself, and I start hearing this sweep of the EQ, and it's like, you want to go, hold on, let me dial myself in.
Yes.
And I'm probably going to get what you're after, after I kind of get situated with the right guitar and the right amp, because, you're not getting, when you're getting like a sound up, you're getting a vague sound, because whatever the first song will be something different, more than likely. So, the sweep of the EQ, lots of times, early on when I was working at these lesser places, I'd go, this is so bright. I keep turning my treble down on the amp, and it's like, what is wrong with my gear? My mic's in the right spot. I get down to where my treble is like on 2, and I'm going, this is not right. And what's going on is I'm cranking it down, and the guy in there is cranking it up. And, I say sometimes a lot of that is great for post, because once you get the whole band in, there's going to be these peaks and valleys. And if you want to EQ something and move it around a little bit to serve the purpose of what you're looking for.
Right.
But, let nature have its thing for a minute.
Yeah, because I just would further that to say we're only as good as what we hear back in our headphones.
Oh, absolutely.
And man, I can't tell you how important a good 2 mix is. And when I'm playing, I want to pull up that mix knob and it sound like a group of people playing together, and it sound like a band. And then let me supplement if I need it on my box. But man, I really love it when an engineer has taken the time to put headphones on and say, let's listen and see what the Q mix sounds like before we start recording this song. Because I love to hear the drums be nice and upfront. And as a keyboard player, it's like I really like, I try to like it the drums, so that's what I focus on. And bass, those 2 things in particular, I need to sound right. And a lot of times, you don't have control over those 2 entities on the box. So I think that's a really important thing to have a cue box beside you, because there's so many things going on. I engineer as well, so I can relate to this. There's a million things happening, but it's so important to put headphones on and hear what the musicians are hearing and make adjustments, for them. And ask the drummer, hey, how's your kit sounding? Do you need more kick drum? Do you need snares? Is the overhead level good? Perfect.
Yeah.
I love to go to the guitar player and say, hey, where do you like to mic your amp? Because you know what? They all mic their own amps from home most of the time, and they have a great idea of where to put the mic as a starting place. You can move it, but ask us, because we do a lot of this ourselves.
I learned a ton in my early days from asking musicians, instead of doing not always doing what I was told or taught, by the guy that I studied under. Asking a musician, hey, where do you, I typically put the mic on a violin, a fiddle here.
Yeah.
What do you like? And you can come up with maybe you don't like it better than what you do. And for him, you do what he likes, you go back to your thing, but then again, our thing is always evolving. Yeah. It's always evolving. So you're finding new spots and mic choices. And speaking of what you just said, I would think that would be miserable for an acoustic guitar player.
EQ?
EQ.
Oh, that's very common to over EQ an acoustic instrument, and the rule of thumb is that if you have to use a lot of EQ, you're probably using the wrong mic or the wrong mic placement or both. So yeah, starting with what we know is right, just from experience, starting there is always going to give you the best platform, and then move, adjust if you need to, and in post, EQ, that's the time to do that probably.
Yeah.
Take it all in, chew up the meat, spit out the bones.
There you go. How about in drum and bass world? Anything?
Well, I was going to say to what Jeff said, you know, for me, it's important for all these years of having a bass in my hand and knowing what it actually sounds like right here. So I did a session, it's been a couple months ago at a place, and engineer got it all plugged in. I know what it sounds like raw. I know what my gear sounds like just in its rawest form. And we started, and he had this fancy preamp, I know, and we were all playing, and I was like, man, it doesn't sound right. Like, I know what my fingers sound like. And he's like, well, I got it in this preamp. I said, you have the EQ is on, and I was telling him the frequencies that were missing, and he's like, no, it's not on, and it was on. The EQ was. I put the bass down, I went in and said, man, it's on. He popped it out, boom, it was like the heavens open, you know.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know what my instrument sounded like in my hand, you can't, you know, you're not equipped to say, you know, like with drums, Scott knows how he likes them tuned. He knows when he wants it to sound a certain way. He knows what to do.
Yeah.
So
Know your gear.
Know your gear. That's
And something you said I want to touch on is a lot of times, like when we're working here, our two mix is based on the console with more me's. But you alluded to the fact of listening to the headphones. Speakers in the control room versus what you guys hear in your headphones can be two different things. Right. So when the drummer asks for more kick drum, it may be too much in the control room. It doesn't matter. If that's what these guys need, that's what you have to do. We're going to remix it and stuff later anyway, right? What they're hearing is on tape forever. You know, what's inspiring you to make you to play better, or something that's wrong keeping you from playing your best, you know, because you can't. It's like, man, I don't know where the backbeat's at because I can't hear it, you know. It's holding you guys back.
It's not just the two mix though. A great engineer is another member of the band.
Absolutely.
And the guys and we've all worked with tons of engineers, and always our favorite guys are the ones who understand when we all kind of make our way to the control room to listen to something that we've done. It's really awesome for us if it sounds great in the control room too, because that's where we can step away from the intensity of what we've been playing.
you can feel the air moving.
And go in and sort of listen a little bit more objectively. And if the engineer is thinking really musically, okay, it's not about their two mix, their headphones anymore. It's about what's going to sound great in the control room. And he's thinking about the song coming to it, like the same way we want to serve the song. He's also serving the song. And we go in there and we feel like, hey, we actually pulled this off. The only way we know for sure is if it sounds great in the control room. If we go in there, we might have played the best track in the world, and we could go in, and if it sounds terrible, everybody feels bad about themselves. They feel like we haven't performed a good track. And so all of these elements are just crucially important. And it's just, all of us have to spend all day just listening to each other, both musically and verbally, just making sure that our communication is really solid.
Yeah, the member of the band, unofficial member of the band thing, I think it's very, very legitimate. What we do inspires you guys, and vice versa. So we have to be on our game, you know. That's for sure. All right, guys. Hey, man, I've really enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys are just full of wisdom. I still learn from you guys all the time. I really do, predominantly because I'm just not that bright, and you know, there's still a lot of empty space up here. So I appreciate you guys. But anyway, I hope you guys learned something from it too. Keep your eyes tuned to our social media pages, because there's a lot of great content coming your way of these guys laying it down, and I'm anxious for you guys to see it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
Okay, friends, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you would, do me a favor, follow Warm Audio on their social media pages like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, for all the current, news about our program. As well, if you would, follow me on my Instagram and Facebook at In The Mix with Joe Carrell. I'm going to give extra content and stuff that I hope you guys will enjoy. Okay, now for Elle Sera singing Beautiful Girl.
Oh, the many sides of you and the things I still don't know yet. There's a world undiscovered, and I may never know the half of it. Walk through the fire and sit in the rain again, 'cause every time out on the other end, stronger than steel, heart full of gold, gonna come around again. More than your name, more than your skin, 'cause baby, that's all for sure. Wear your lightning, roll your thunder for everyone to know. You're beautiful, 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 beautiful girl. Isn't too much of anything worth much of anything, as much as your soul.